Happy Friday. How are you? I hope you guys are having a good week. I'm so glad that you're here with me for another awesome video. For those of you that are new, my name is Orly and this is the DIY designer. I do really great DIY fashion and home decor and styling videos and all sorts of fun stuff, and it means the world to me that you're here. Today is an amazing summer DIY. We are going to be making sexy, cozy, slouchy jumpsuits with pockets. Why do pockets make everything better? I don't know, but they do. I'm actually gonna show you two totally different versions for these jumpsuits that you can make without a pattern at all, which is really fun because you can have a lot of freedom and a lot of creativity. So the first one we're gonna do is this kind of like, it almost reminds me of, you know when you see kids in really cute like little rompers or like pajamas and you're like, man, I wish that came in adult sets. This is that. This is basically that. It's like an adult romper. It's really freaking cute. It looks adorable belted. It looks adorable not belted. However you want to wear it, it's amazing. I am also going to be doing a version with wrap pants. Now, a couple years ago, I made wrap pants on this channel. This is basically those pants, but with a top attached to the front. It's all open and strappy in the back. Do it in a sequin fabric, you're ready for a wedding. Do it in like a comfy cotton, you're ready for bed. It is a really versatile piece and I can't wait to share it with you guys. This video is only happening because of the amazing team over at Skillshare. And you know who just joined the team? This is a big deal for me. This is a big deal. Lily Singh. If you don't know Lily, she started on YouTube doing like sketch comedy, blew up, became so successful doing these videos. She fully transitioned. She had her own late night talk show. She's written books. She's a producer and a director and a writer, and she calls herself a storyteller above all else. And she just released an incredibly in-depth, super valuable course. She takes you through how to actually come up with your ideas, how to write your script, how to plan and shoot your videos, how to edit your videos, the right ways to upload and which platforms to use, how to promote your videos and grow your channel. Like, it is a full-on brain dump from one of the absolute best. If I found out that Lily had a course available to buy like through her website, I would pay hundreds of dollars for all of that info that she provides. But this course is completely free for anyone that's a Skillshare member. Now, if you're not a member and you want to try it out, I have a link down below. The first 1,000 of you to click the link will get a totally free trial of premium, so you can take her entire course, plus all the other thousands and thousands of amazing courses that are on Skillshare. If you do miss the first 1,000, then it's under $10 a month. So again, like even if you paid for the full year, I still think Lily's course alone, if you are a content creator, is well worth it. And then you just get access to all the other thousands and thousands of courses. Again, that link below, the first 1,000 of you get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. You're gonna love it. So go ahead and give it a shot. And let's get into this awesome DIY, because man, it's real cozy. All right, before we get started, I just want to give you a quick peek at what the pattern ends up looking like, just so you sort of know what we're making here. This is the overall shape of the drawstring pattern, and at the end of the episode, I will show you how we get there. Now, here's my fabric. Right now, it's just folded in half, and basically, this is my muslin. I'm drafting the pattern on this fabric, so I'm gonna be tweaking and adjusting as we go. But that way, if it works out cute, I actually have a version instead of something in muslin. First measurement you wanna take is from your high point shoulder down to like where you want the crotch to be. If you want it more of a drop crotch, that measurement should be bigger. For me, that was 30, but obviously the longer it goes, the more sort of drop crotchy it is, or obviously if you're very tall, that measurement will be longer. Now, normally the back of a jumpsuit or pants is longer than the front, right? So that the inseam is adjusted. So to kind of cheat that, what I'm doing is just stacking my fabric. So I'm making it that the front is 2 inches lower than the back, so that the back will end up being 2 inches longer than the front. So I simply stacked it, and now I fold it in half and I'm plotting that 30-inch measurement. Now again, you can see I like stalled because I'm just freehanding it. There's no pattern, I'm just like going with it. Basically what you're gonna do is at that inseam measurement, you're gonna start creating a really soft, rounded U shape, start curving it, and then connect it and cut it out. That creates basically our pant leg. So there you go. They look like crazy, weird clown pants or like super drop crotchy sweatpants. Now, the top, it's time to create the trapezoid shape in the top. You can see that dress that I balled up on the side. That's a drawstring dress that I made that I really like the fit of. So I took the measurement off of that, and that was gonna be about 13 inches all the way across. So then I cut the armhole. That's the shape that goes from the top down to the side seam. It's what creates that actual trapezoid shape, and it's what is going to create the shape in the front. So for me, that was about 8 inches, and now I'm just kind of shaving it off so that it gets a little bit more narrow. Now you're gonna see soon, I'm gonna need to take some volume out of it, but what I'm doing right now is pinning everything into place, face to face, obviously, so that I can sew it with a really, really loose straight stitch to just see if the fit is right. That way I can easily make adjustments. Now it was right about now where I realized, like, wait, pockets are a necessity. When you wanna create pockets, fold your fabric so you've got 4 layers of it. Angle your hand like downward, because that's the way pockets are, right? They kind of angle down, and just cut around your hand. Now I've got my pockets that are on an angle that will be able to be sewn into my side seams that are gonna go the correct angle and fit my hand. So now I'm doing, again, that super loose, simple straight stitch. This is basically a basting stitch, just so that I can throw it on and see what tweaks I need to make. Because again, this is going to become my pattern. Once this one is done, I will use that as a pattern for my the rest of the ones that I make. Now, this is the top, the trapezoid. We need to create a drawstring casing. So all you do is fold down about 1 inch and sew it straight across, and then I'll be able to feed a drawstring through. Now, eventually, I will make a drawstring out of this fabric so it all matches, but for right now, I'm just gonna use like an old shoelace that I have. Now, one of the things that's really cool that you could do, and I'm bummed at myself for not showing you, is there's the option of either looping this through the front and the back, right? And then you end up with like a tank, drawstring tank in the front and the back. There is also the option of only looping it through the front and letting the back sort of fold in and hang, and then you get this really cool like draped back front halter version. So there are 2 ways that you can actually do this, but here it is. I threw it on and there was just way too much volume. So I know I'm definitely gonna need to take out some of that center volume. And right now I'm marking like naturally where my hands wanna go so I can pin where my pockets go. That's what you'll do. You'll just put it on and kind of like pretend the pocket is there, see where you want it to be, and mark it. Now, it's time to take out some of the volume out of the center. What you're looking at right now is the center front of my jumpsuit folded in half, face to face. So I am going to basically take out about 2 to 3 inches from the top drawstring all the way down. I'm putting a center front seam in to take out some volume. Again, this is not what you're gonna wanna do on your final version, but this is how I am adjusting the pattern so that I can actually get the right fit, and then I will just draft everything off of this. So you can see now I have a center front seam. That has taken out about 4 to 5 inches of volume from the center front. Now, I will obviously cut all that excess off, but not yet. It's time to do the pockets, and this is how you do pockets. Here are my 2 pieces. You can see that the right sides are facing out. I'm gonna put them in. The top is going exactly where I marked it with my pin, and the right side of the fabric is going to the right side of the front. The right side of the back pocket is facing the right side of the back, right? So right sides together. You are only going to pin the front pocket to the front piece and the back pocket to the back piece. That's the first step. Just pin them together, lay them flat, and make sure they're lined up evenly. Now, straight stitch and sew them together. Again, you can see right sides are facing together and the angle is pointing downward so that the pocket will angle down just the way your hands go. Now, you wanna fold it and press it. So I'm folding it back in just like that. You can see now my seam is nice and crisp, and you're just gonna top stitch it. This is optional. Actually, you don't have to do it. Some fabrics need it, some don't. I realize this fabric doesn't really need it, but again, it's up to you. So there you go. You can see now that the pockets are facing outward, right? I've sewn them to the sides, but they are not sewn together. Just the front is sewn to the front, the back is sewn to the back. This is how you actually create your pocket. You are going to sew your side seam down. Once you get to the pocket, you're gonna go around the pocket, not sewing the side seam together where the pocket is. That's what creates the opening, right? So you're gonna sew straight down your side seam. I've got a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm gonna go a 1/4 inch into my pocket, leave your needle down, rotate. Now I'm sewing all the way around my pocket, and again, because I'm not sewing closed the side seam where my pocket is, it creates an opening into my pocket. Now that I'm sewing my pocket closed, it creates my actual pocket. Now when I put my hand inside, there's a pocket, an end. My hand just doesn't go straight through. Again, when you get to the end, go a 1/4 inch into your side seam, keep your needle down, rotate, and keep sewing. And that's it. That's how you actually sew in a pocket. It's super simple. Now I'm cutting off that excess that was in the seam in the center front and the center back. Again, so everything is right. Now this is my pattern, right? This pattern worked, and so this is now how I'm able to draft my pattern on everything else and make sure that it's really crisp and clean. All my lines are straight, and I follow everything that I did. Again, I'm doing the pocket the same way, but because I drafted my pattern on the first one, now I know forever the right fit for what I want. And again, at the very end of the episode, I'm gonna go through sort of a graphic and show you how you come up with that pattern, and you can kind of screenshot it as well. Now, obviously all the steps are the same. The only seams you're sewing are those, the inseam, the side seams. You want to create drawstring casings and drawstrings, and that's it. You'll see how cute this one came out. Now, a really important step is to press everything, especially for this one, because I made so many tweaks and changes. I want everything to feel really nice and crisp. You definitely want to press those pockets. So lay them really flat and really press them so that the pockets lay flat when your hand is not in them. They're just laying really, really nice. But basically these two are done, and it's time to move on to our wrap pants. Now, like I said, I did a full video on this. So to actually figure out your measurements, you can go watch that video. I'm really just gonna talk about how to attach a top. So what I'm doing is I'm laying my existing wrap pants that I made on my fabric. You can see that I have it hanging off the edge because I don't want them to be quite as high-waisted as these are, and I need a little bit length so I can create my top. So I'm just cutting everything out, and there you go. I basically got my pants ready. This is the fabric that I cut off the bottom, and it's not wide enough on its own, so I'm gonna sew it together so that I have a center front seam, which is totally fine because my pants have a center front seam as well. So again, just sewing two panels together so I have a little bit more to work with. And I'm really like loosey-goosey with this. You're gonna see it in a minute. Here are the pants. I know it looks like nothing, but the white selvage edge is actually the top of my center front. That's my center front you're looking at. It's gonna go around my front and wrap around my back. So this is where I'm going to attach the top to. Now, whatever pattern, whatever design you wanna do, you can do with your top, but you want to attach it right here. So center front seam to center front seam and pin it. Then your side seams and your side seams, because again, this is gonna wrap all the way around, making sure to cover any kind of side boob action, unless you don't want that, and then, sauce it up. I'm adjusting and kind of filling in all the excess fabric to make little pleats. Again, this is gonna be really like drapey, so those pleats are gonna look really nice. Now, what I did, and I'm kicking myself for not filming it, is I literally put it on and I took all that excess fabric, right? It was just one big rectangle, and I started tucking it in to a drawstring that I made. I started like tucking it and pinning it, wrapping it and pinning it, pleating it and pinning it, until I ended up basically with that same trapezoid shape. I pinned everything into place on me. Like I just looked in the mirror and I did it on me, and then I stitched it all down. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually sewing down all of the pleats directly onto the long tie that I made. And you'll see it at the end. It's something that you're just gonna kind of go with. You can do any style top you want. You could sew an already existing tank top, but that's it. You can see I just sort of folded it over and pinned it down. It's not pretty, but I just sort of went with it. And what's cool is that when you do something like this, you're making your muslin and your pattern out of fabric you can actually wear. So even though it's not perfect and gorgeous on the inside, it absolutely works. And from here, you can make other versions that are a little bit more like tuned up and cleaned up and, like professionally made. But I think I want you guys to be really free to just sort of go with it, because no one else is gonna see the inside. You're the only one that knows it's not perfect, right? So basically at this point, what I did is I added little straps on the end so that I could do a crisscross back and hold it together. But you can see, that's what it ends up looking like. I do decide actually to keep these two like triangles because it gives me a little bit of coverage and I don't need a bra. So again, it doesn't look cute on the inside, but you'll see on the outside, it is really, really cute. Now, I wanna go over the pattern with you guys because I think it will be super helpful. All right, let's talk about the patterns. If you want to screenshot this, you can screenshot this real quick. This is the romper pattern. These are based off my measurements, but it's really forgiving. So this is probably like an extra small to a medium, I'd say. So you can use this as a reference. The top, where my drawstring goes, is 13 inches wide. My armholes are 8. Then the width is 22, and it's basically that all the way down. I put my pant leg, I started it at 30. So from here to here was 30 inches. If you want more of a drop crotch, you would just lower that measurement. Then I cut out my U shape and it gave me a pant leg of about 10.5. Now for the wrap skirt,
the wrap pants, I'm not gonna do how you figure out these measurements too in depth, but this is what the pattern looks like. This is your front, this is your back. This is the only thing that's being sewn, that center. So when this is sewn together and this opens, that's your front, and this is your back to figure out your measurement. So for me, I did the same. So it's 13 in both, so that gives me 26 inches that wraps over each other. Again, I made a 12-inch inseam, so you kind of drop that down. That's your front and that's your back. Now, if you wanted to do the jumpsuit version, this is where your shirt is added to. This is where I sewed that center seam, right? So this is actually my center front right here. So the way that the pattern kind of ended up going is like this. I know it's confusing, but that is your front. Right here is where you would put your drawstring, and that's the part that wraps around the back with all the straps, right? These are your sides, your center front.
All right, guys, that is it. I'm gonna model these for you. If you enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll share it with a friend, hit the like button or subscribe if you aren't already. And next week, I think I'm bringing back 5 Ways to Friday. Do you guys remember that series? I show you how to wear one thing 5 totally different ways, and I'm gonna do a version of that next week. So if you love those videos and you've missed them, I will see you guys here next Friday for another awesome one. Have a beautiful week. Mwah. Thanks for being here.